Hi there, my name's Kyle and I'm the bass trombonist with the Halle Orchestra. Today for my Geek of the Week I'd like to introduce to you one of the slightly more uncommon instruments that I'm sometimes required to play with the orchestra. Primarily my main instrument is this, which is the bass trombone. The main difference between a tenor trombone and a bass trombone is that I have these two extra pipes at the top here. They essentially act as an extension of the trombone and allow me to play lower, but as well as that be more flexible in that register, so I'm not just restricted to the notes on the slide. For example, the tenor trombone can only go as low as the slide will let it. But with my two triggers, I can get the notes in between and then meet on the pedal B flat. In the orchestra, my aim is to act as a bridge between the tuba and the tenor trombones. Sometimes you have to blend with the tenor trombones, and then other times you have to add that sparkle to the tuba sound, or even add different textures to the woodwind or strings. You could be playing the bass line one moment, then the melody, then all of a sudden you're the third, fifth or seventh of a chord. Therefore, adaptability is key, and although this is my primary instrument, I am sometimes required to play this, which is the contrabass trombone. Now, before you start thinking I'm somewhat vertically challenged, I'm actually 6 foot tall. So if I put the Contra on the floor, you can roughly see how tall it is. So as well as being taller than the average sized human, the Contra can be referred to as the tuba on a stick. It basically plays in the same register as the tuba, but it still keeps the timbre of the trombone. Nowadays, the modern contrabass trombone is pitched in F, whereas the bass trombone is in B flat. Originally, around the times of the Renaissance, the Contra was in double B flat. It was essentially just a large tube that required a handle to reach the lower positions. It later evolved to having a double slide, where the slide was wound back on itself 4 times, which thus cut in half the amount of movement you actually had to do to move the slide and get the notes. Gradually through time and after a lot of dented tubing and with a bass trombone player's lack of spatial awareness, the Contra was blessed with 2 triggers, much like the modern day bass trombone. So what are the main differences between the contrabass and the bass trombone? Most obvious is the difference in size. You can see here that even with the triggers, the contrabass extends a lot more to the back of the instrument. With this, the mouthpieces are different. The Contra has a much larger mouthpiece than the bass and is probably closer to a small tuba-sized mouthpiece. Subsequently, the range of the 2 instruments is different as well. Although you can play very similar passages on each instrument, the Contra just lends itself to be able to play more comfortably in the extreme low register. The lowest note on the Contra is a double pedal B flat, and to give you a visual representation of that, if you imagine a piano keyboard and you play the lowest B flat, that's the lowest note of the Contra. This is possible on the bass, but as I'll show you on the Contra, it sounds a lot more comfortable. Believe it or not, the Contra is often found in an opera setting, particularly in Wagner's epic Ring cycle. Here he uses it to such a dramatic effect to bridge the gaps between the depths of the orchestra and to the trombones, as well as giving the Contra a go at some of his trademark leitmotifs. Now, not only Wagner found delight with the contrabass, but also Strauss used it in his opera Elektra, as well as Schoenberg in his mammoth cantata Gurlieder. It can also be found in works by composers such as Verdi and Puccini. However, in more modern days, the Contra is quite extensively used in film scores, so you've probably heard it before. From James Bond to The Incredibles, the Contra is becoming ever more popular, so I'm sure the next time you're in the Bridgewater Hall, you won't miss it the next time you see one. Thanks for watching, see you soon.